The Gypsy Rose Blanchard saga just took another unexpected twist, and this time it wasn't Gypsy herself stirring the pot, it was her stepmother, Kristy Blanchard, who jumped into the spotlight during a messy, unpredictable, and downright explosive TikTok live session that quickly spiraled from a simple clarification to a whirlwind of family drama, public opinions, and deeply personal revelations. It all began when Christy discovered that someone was pretending to be her online, sending absolutely vile and disturbing messages to a TikTok creator while using her name and identity. Furious and disgusted, Christy decided she wasn't going to sit quietly and let someone ruin her reputation. So, she went live on TikTok to set the record straight. But what was supposed to be a quick explanation turned into a full-blown livestream event featuring 9 different people talking, debating, and often shouting over one another in real time. The chaos was undeniable, but so was the tea. Right from the jump, the conversation turned toward Gypsy and how she's been handling life after prison. Someone on the panel boldly suggested that Gypsy should step away from social media altogether, disappear from the spotlight for a while, and finally get to know herself without the constant noise, judgment, and digital attention.
Who knows everybody? Like, we all live and learn every day, like I said.
I feel that
she's evolving.
Instead of making a spectacle about it while you're learning, why not just step away while you're growing?
At the end of the day, if she screws up, she has to take accountability. She has to eat crow. Whatever.
Right, but again, Christy, you just said the word. She has to take accountability, and she has never. She has. But hold on, wait.
But I'm not talking about like the Nick thing. I'm talking about
but she needs. But Christy, this whole thing is because of Nick. She used and abused an autistic man. She needs to take accountability for it, and I promise you,
to the world, she doesn't need to take accountability.
Christy, if she takes accountability for it and shows the world that she is sorry, everybody would look at this differently.
Right,
and I'm telling you that
a little bit of grace, and I'm not saying that y'all don't, because I don't know, I don't watch y'all channel, but when she's ready, she'll do it. Yeah, she gets condemned every freaking day, or every day, and she feels, and sometimes I feel it's like, why even bother? Because they don't care. You could say you took accountability. They don't care. They're gonna say you didn't. Now, I'm not saying all of you. I'm not saying that towards anybody in general.
According to them, Gypsy never really had the space to figure out who she is outside of Dee Dee's abuse or the headlines that have followed her ever since. But the comments didn't stop there. One user pointed out something more controversial, that their biggest issue with Gypsy is her refusal to own up to the full extent of her involvement in her mother's murder. They reminded everyone of her appearance on the Nick Godejohn podcast, where she claimed she doesn't see herself as what many would call her.
I don't associate myself as a because if you think about it, yes, I had a part to play in it. I asked Nick for help. And how that conversation started was, he was saying that he would protect me from anyone. I said anyone. He said yes. I said even my mother. He said yes. And then the plan kind of formed from there. But he's the one that did the actual, not me. I can't anyone. That's why he's in trouble to begin with, because he's the one that did it. So when they say I'm her, I don't identify as that.
It's not that she doesn't want to. She knows. She knows what she did, but she don't want to have to get it thrown in her face every day.
Why is she on TV?
She knows what she did, but she can't take accountability for it, Christy. That makes no sense. She's never taken
she's taken a lot of accountability for things she did.
She has not taken accountability when it comes to Nick. You cannot say that she has not taken
confided in me about a lot of things, and that's between her and I. And when she's going to be ready to share it, she will.
Implying that even though she was the one who gave Nick Godejohn the green light to kill Dee Dee, she doesn't want to be labeled as someone who had a direct hand in the crime. That rubbed people the wrong way.
And I always tell her she needs to forgive herself.
Yeah. Do one of you guys mind dropping?
I think you're right. I think maybe if people kind of give her a little grace, and Let her do it on her time. It's not when you want it done. It's not when I want it done. It's when she's going to be ready. And I can't, fault her for that. Whenever she's going to be ready, she's going to be ready.
I understand. I understand that, Christy.
It's a long process.
I understand that, Christy, but
there's
again,
a lot of layers though that she is, has to go through.
I also.
Well, maybe
instead of saying I don't
when she gets off of parole, and she hears what y'all are saying, and she knows it's not coming from malicious intent. It's coming.
Yeah,
but she said things before, like as soon as she gets off parole.
Well, she can't legally. Right now she can't really talk about Nick. Even y'all said she is. I never seen it, but I don't. Like I said, I don't go looking for it.
Then, someone asked Christy a hard-hitting question. Did she think Gypsy was truly coping well with life outside prison? Was she adjusting in a healthy way? Was she being honest with herself and everyone else about her actions? Christy didn't flinch. She said that she has no problem calling Gypsy out if she's slipping. If Gypsy's going left when she should be going right, Christy said, she'll tell her. She doesn't sugarcoat. And she won't play along with a narrative just to make Gypsy feel better. But things got even more heated when a TikTok creator named Ethan chimed in with a brutal reality check. You can't ask for attention and then be surprised when you get negative attention. According to him, Gypsy willingly puts herself out there, through interviews, social media, public appearances, so the backlash isn't surprising.
You gotta take the good and the bad, and you gotta eat the humble pie when you have to, and you gotta eat crow when you have to. You gotta do it all. You gotta take it all at face value. Because look, like I said, I've been in this freaking rodeo for a long time, and I've let things roll off my back. Because I have to. If I don't, I will be mad at the world. And I don't want to be that person. I want to help people. Like I said, if somebody would go through this that has hated on Gypsy, I would be the one in their corner having their back, because that's how my mom raised me. I want to see everybody with a good heart, with a good intention, just the way I want people to see me. I will not judge you.
In his words, you can't seek fame and expect to be immune to criticism. Christy, again, didn't deny it. In fact, she admitted that she's received plenty of hate herself, specifically from Christian women who've messaged her with hateful, profane insults. But she said she's not scared. Not of public opinion. And definitely not of Gypsy, even though Gypsy is now living under her roof. She wanted to make one thing very clear: she's not afraid to live with Gypsy, no matter what anyone assumes or speculates. In fact, Christy believes a lot of people on the internet are just stirring the pot for clout, provoking her and her family to get reactions that they can turn into content. And instead of feeding into it, she encouraged people to reach out directly if they had real questions. The live kept spiraling into more and more controversial territory. Christy brought up Without a Crystal Ball creator Katie Joy, who apparently accused her of drinking and slurring her words during a phone conversation. Christy shut that rumor down completely, calling it a flat-out lie.
Opinion is on Becca Scoops.
I don't have an opinion on Becca Scoops.
Christy, I just want to thank you for coming up here tonight.
I don't watch your content. Love your grandkids more than your kids. I didn't think it was possible. But on the bayou, we call it the stupid club, because when your grandparents, you're stupid. You do fun things with them. You look like a fool to make them laugh. So I'm proud to be a part of that club. But I wish Dee Dee would be here to see it too. I do.
Are you guys going to tell Aurora when she's older about Dee Dee?
Yeah.
Then someone brought up Dee Dee and the long-standing claims that she suffered from Munchausen by proxy, the condition where a caregiver makes their child sick in order to get attention or sympathy. One creator questioned the whole thing, saying Gypsy didn't seem to be getting sicker, which is the usual pattern with that illness. That sparked more debate about whether Dee Dee was truly mentally ill, or if the situation was far more complicated than it's been portrayed.
Well,
And do you
look,
understand also, Christy, that
Actually, I
Gypsy
just
absolutely
used to tell
needed
her she
her
didn't
teeth pulled?
well, I know she would put,
She
you
was
know,
sucking a
no,
baby
she
bottle
would
for
no
till
her
she was
teeth.
look,
23.
I
Her
didn't know
teeth.
about the baby bottle
Guys, let
till
Christy
like
talk.
recently because, like I said, I didn't ask because she thought she had told me about it, and I was like, "Girl, you sucked a baby bottle till how old?" And she was
Her
like,
teeth
"Oh."
were rotted because were rotted,
The bottle
and not
rot.
only that,
She had
like
bottle rot.
and the teeth that she did have, they were either fillings or root canals or crowns that were put in. So
And
she
you are
didn't
aware
get
that
all of her
Gypsy
Was
teeth
a
was
pulled.
train wreck.
time for that.
Her
Okay.
mouth was a
All right.
train wreck.
But here's
No
something
matter how
else
you
that
spin it,
needs.
I mean, her teeth were
And
horrible.
can I state this? The microdeletion also causes that. It's failure to thrive.
Right, but I mean,
Right.
we could go back and forth with that with the micro deletion, but like her doctor said,
Can I ask you a question
enough
while
to
we're
Want to
on?
go back and forth on?
Christy, who was there for much of the aftermath, shared the story of the first time she heard Gypsy mention Nick Godejohn. Gypsy was 18 at the time and asked her stepsister Mia to look him up on Facebook.
But Gypsy was sending all these videos to like not David, sorry, Dan, and
oh
doing all
yes.
sorts of really
Let me tell
nasty
you about
stuff.
that.
How was she doing that with Dee Dee there?
Let me tell you,
Yeah.
this is the first time I heard about Dan. Mia comes in the living room and she said, Gypsy was 18. I'm, thinking nothing's wrong. She's into older guys because Mia comes in. She's like, Mom, Gypsy asked me to go look up this guy on Facebook. She likes him. He's older. And I went and looked and he's ugly. And I said,
Okay. Scared. And
yeah. No, she didn't ask her, like, for me to look
A
him
little weird, but
up.
I
It is a
digress.
little
I
weird.
digress.
It is a little weird, but we have to remember Gypsy at that time. I mean, I'm thinking, well, she's 18. She likes older guys, not thinking nothing of it because I didn't know that she was living how she was living. And people could say all they want that we knew. We didn't have a freaking clue.
That was the beginning of what would become one of the most infamous criminal cases in modern internet history. Later, a viewer asked Christy whether she was concerned that if Gypsy and her new husband, Ken, eventually split, Gypsy might fall back into old habits, the lying, the manipulation, the icon that she once ran with Dee Dee. Christy was confident in her answer, no, she's not worried. But others on the live weren't so sure. One creator, Hello Starlight, flat out said that Gypsy is using social media now the same way she once used fake illnesses and lies, only now.
The thing, Christy, you have to understand where we're coming from with this. Her crime happened due to social media, so she should have never been allowed on social media after she got out to begin with.
What I think the happier Rod and I were the sticker Gypsy got. And it's like when she moved after Hurricane Katrina, when I was frantically looking for him, putting, it on the news that I'm looking for him because our last conversation was, we're going to keep in touch. They were going to a shelter. She let me know that. And then radio silent. Couldn't find out. I'm panicking. And when I finally found the shelter, they had shipped them off already. And I'm like, well, where did they go? And they're like, well, we don't know. And I jumped the shelter's ass because I'm like, people are looking for their loved ones and y'all not having a record. Well, there was a nurse from Missouri that was helping out and told me about Missouri. And she went. And Dee had an arrest warrant out on her to applaud and went to the police station and let them know she passed away for fraud.
He took that as an opportunity, as a new beginning. But if she was making Gypsy sicker because you and Rod were happier, that doesn't explain what happened in Missouri at
And
all.
it doesn't explain the facts that the hospital visits lessened after the microdeletion was detected.
Did y'all see on the hospital visits and the special notes and a lot of them that said that Rod and Christy were not allowed?
Yeah.
I was like, dang.
Well, why didn't Rod go to court and demand visitation and demand access to what you thought was your sick child?
Yeah.
This is, we've talked about that, and every time we get into an argument, Rod had to, like, Christy, please, she'd bring him to court. He's like, Christy, for the love of God, We're arguing with her. She brings me to court every time. Petty stuff.
But that was his child. Maybe Dee Dee felt like Rod wasn't supporting her.
He was paying
Yeah.
the child support.
Your dad was paying child support. I mean,
Yes.
Instead of conning doctors and charities, she's conning the internet. At that point, the live took a softer but equally intense turn. Someone asked if the family would ever share more about Dee Dee photos, stories, moments from her life, acknowledging that no matter what she did, she was still a person who died violently. Christy said yes, the family would be open to that, and even shared a surprising detail. Back in the day, Dee Dee was a groupie for the Great White Band and other classic hair metal acts. That peek into Dee Dee's past made the situation feel even more complicated, more human. Then came the most heartbreaking part. Christy described the moment she and Rod got the call that Gypsy was missing. She said all of Gypsy's wheelchairs were still at the house. The first thing that went through her mind? That Gypsy had been kidnapped, thrown into a ditch, or worse, left somewhere to die. That moment still haunts her. She said Rod didn't even have a key to Dee Dee's house. He had to climb in through a window so they could search the place and clean it out after the murder. Now, as the dust settles again, Gypsy is preparing to close a chapter. On June 25th, this Wednesday, she will officially be off parole. And if her recent social media activity is any indication, she's already embracing her new life. Just days ago, she posted a video showing off the bedroom she now shares with Ken in his rental house, looking relaxed, smiling, as if the past was already behind her.
Here is a room tour of me and Ken's master bedroom. Okay, so this is my side. I really love the scent of cashmere, so I always have a cashmere candle. This photo was taken by one of my favorite photographers. Her name is Erin. She's a local photographer. I've gotten my maternity pictures from her, and so many more, like my baby shower pictures and stuff like that. I get all of them through her. This is my wonderful touch light. I love how I can just touch this. I got this from Lowe's, and I did install a stained glass light bulb. Of course, the baby monitor. These two bears were a gift that I gave Ken back in like 2018. When we were engaged the first time. And then of course Ken's side, he has a different lamp than me because he likes the USB port, but he has pictures of me. Yeah, so that is our bedroom. And then of course we have a sliding glass door that goes out to the patio and our dream catcher.
But for many watching, the past is far from forgotten. And based on the live, the Blanchard family drama is still simmering beneath the surface. Whether Gypsy will truly find peace, or continue to live her life in the public eye, surrounded by controversy, remains to be seen. But if one thing's clear, it's that the world isn't done watching.